I think we got frozen.
Hello, we're here. Lorraine, how are you? I'm so excited to have you today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this, and um, it's just something that needs to be done. And I've been wanting to be here for a really long time. So I'm very
Perfect.
excited.
Me too. Me too. I've been waiting for you to come online so I can have a conversation with you in a chat. So before we
Yeah.
get started, you know the drill. I love to do this. So the first thing we need to do is we need to bring ourselves here and now because most of us are so busy in the past every day, right? We think about all of our past things all the time. And then we then project the past onto the future and we think about our future with the lens of the past. And then we worry and fear about the future as well. So, but what happens is we're never here. We're not here and now. And without being here and now, we can't create. And we feel, almost not here, but everywhere else. Anyone can relate to that? Lorraine, can you relate to that? Like you're
Totally. I
everywhere
can.
else.
Yeah, I can. I don't live as much in the past. Oh, I mean, but it does come up, obviously, just because, like, oh, why did you do that? Why did you? I mean, and then, and particularly with your children, you never felt like that you ever did a good enough job. And then you look at the future and you thinking like, well, um, your own future, like what is it? And I'm getting older. And so as you get older, you tend to look at the future and you see it diminishing. And so one of the things that when I saw this is that I remind myself when I start feeling a little anxious or stressed, or this is what I need to do, and blah, 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 I remind myself that I'm here now and I'm doing what needs to be done right now. The rest will take care of itself as it comes up. And that has actually helped a lot in my dealings with students, adults, everything. It's just, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, and it's why we have so many people who have anxiety, who's experiencing anxiety, and there's so much anxiousness in their system because we're always thinking about either of these places and we're not here to be present. No, like it's hard to be present if you're not here
Yeah.
thinking about other things. So I always say, if you're thinking about the past, if you keep thinking about the past, the time is wasted because you're not here to do anything at the moment. So only thing we can do with the past is really take the lessons from it, because that's the only thing we can take from anything that happened to us in the past is those lessons that are very valuable. We can take them and then we just have to let it go, because
Yeah.
holding on to those past experiences are not doing anything for us, and revisiting them on a regular basis, on a daily basis, hourly basis, even a minute basis is not doing anything to us. Waste of time. So we're going to let it go, just learn the lessons and let it go. And the same thing with the future. If you're thinking about the future, that's great. We all have a future ahead of us, right? That's why it's there. We don't know what's going to be, but it's there. But projecting the past and thinking about the future with uncertainty and a lot of fear, that doesn't do anything either. That's also steals your time away from you to do something right here and now. So only thing you can do is bless the future and release it. It's available to all of us. It'll come. It's there. It's coming. So now if you bring both of your hands here, you're now and here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only moment we can learn, live, and lead ourselves and others. So we need to bring ourselves every day to this place. Whenever you're getting so much into the past or future, try to bring yourself here and now. So to do that, there is a beautiful thing that we are gifted. All of us have it all the time, and we're using it all the time, but we forget to take these deeper. So that is your breath. You have it. It's your birth, right? You have been given at your birth this beautiful thing that we all do, but we take it for so granted. So let's take a deep breath. For inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And really release for 8. Let go everything you're carrying, all the stress, all the worry, everything about the past, everything about the future. Just bringing yourself now and here. You need to let it go. Right? So let's take another inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And really let it go. Anything that you've been thinking about it all day long, maybe it's on your mind all the time, nagging you, just let it go. Just take a deep exhale and let it all go for a count of 8. Now, one more time, inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And really let it go. Don't hold on to anything because you want to come here and now. So let everything go. Because the only place we can create, we can learn, we can live, we can lead is here and now. So this live is so important to us because we are bringing you our magazine. Our magazine has been out for almost a year and a half. It was called Parenting, Learning, and Living. Now that we have expanded it into a human universal system, we now call it Learning, Living, and Leading. And Lorraine, our coach, was one of the coaches who have contributed an article in this magazine, in this issue. And this issue is very special to us because we're so sick and tired of trying harder in our life, right,
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes, so much so.
Yeah, it's just so hard. It's just so hard to try harder and harder and harder. And how hard can I try? Right? That's where we're at. We're so exhausted. So we thought we should end that era and we should bring in what we've been using called the Readiness OS era. And Lorraine is here to talk about that. So I am so excited to have her. So thank you for being here. So the first question I have, Lorraine, for you from your article is that when did you first realize trying harder wasn't working?
Oh, I've been realizing this really actually for a really long time, that trying harder, one, all it does is exhaust you. It really does. It's exhausting to you. And if you're in a certain jobs, not only does it exhaust you, but very rarely is it appreciated. It's usually just taken advantage of. And so what happens is that you're basically running on a treadmill and getting nowhere. And that's really what it is. And what I find is get off the treadmill and go and just take a walk and be able to do the things that you really want to do, but you're still getting the same benefits by doing the walk and doing the things that you want to do. And it's regulating to you. It calms your nervous system. It calms everything that you need to do. Trying harder also frustrates you. And so I take my example from the kids too, is that they could try so hard and it's just so frustrating to them because it's not so much that they can't learn it, but sometimes they just don't know yet. And maybe their brains, their nervous system, everything is just not ready for that yet. And so you have to be patient. And I've learned a lot from that just from watching kids and teenagers, young adults, is that they are working hard. Most of them are not trying to be lazy or troublemakers, but if it's hard, if it's dysregulating to them, if they look at it and they suddenly panic, then maybe it's not about how smart they are or about bucking up and just quit crying and just do it and already. That doesn't work, and we've already proven that. It's been proven, especially after COVID. We know that if working hard was all that it took, every student would be a genius. I mean, honestly, they would all be geniuses. They would all be graduating with honors and all going to Harvard or the school of their choice. But obviously that's not true. And when we look at our kids, we know they're smart. And I think that's what's frustrating to most parents or teachers or adults when they look at these kids. They're thinking they're so smart. Why don't they do it? And it's more about why don't they do it? Because they know they can do it. And what happens is that everybody's frustrated now. Everybody, the parent is frustrated, the child is frustrated, the community, the schools are frustrated because they're thinking this kid is smart and we need to do something about it.
So do you think we're at a breaking point with this try harder?
Oh yeah. However, a lot of systems have not received that message.
We're fighting it as if it's
we're fighting it. And what's happened is teachers specifically have more burdens put on them because it's usually the teachers or the parents' fault, or both, that the child is not succeeding. And so new programs keep coming out that just makes a teacher work harder, more data, more this, more that. Let's do small groups. Let's do big groups. Let's do individual groups. Let's do recess. Oh, wait, don't have time for that. Let's do this. And it's so strict, minute by minute by minute. Teachers are under the gun. And so, but society as a whole still thinks that if teachers work harder or try harder, then the kids will get it. And I can honestly say that I know very few teachers that do not work hard, and they are working harder. They want their kids to get it.
But it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing, right? We tell the kids to try harder. We're telling the teachers to try harder. We're telling parents to try harder in parenting. Everybody's just told to try harder. If something's not working, we're not seeing why it's not working. We're just told try harder in the same way, just do more of the same thing. But it's insanity when it's not working to do the same thing repeatedly.
And we're reaching a crisis in this country, in all over the world, but I'll just talk about in this country specifically, in the fact that there's shortages of teachers. Parents are more frustrated than ever. Kids are falling behind, and we're reaching a level of need that has never been there before, because we live in a different world. We should not have to work as hard as we are doing now. We have technology that is beyond what anybody can expect. And technology is supposed to make our lives easier. And so far it hasn't, because not only are we not properly using it, but we're also not allowing our children, the adult within us, the community, the parents, to regulate and breathe. It's just technology has been used. Well, this is saving you time, so let's just work harder now. Work harder on technology.
Yeah. So what changed first time when you stopped focusing on performance? Because, as a teacher, you're always chasing that performance for your students, for, you're also getting observations from, people coming into your classroom to see how well you're doing. So that's performance, right? So when did you stop focusing on performance and started focusing on readiness?
Because I know people won't think this is fortunate, but I am fortunate to work in a fully self-contained classroom. And I have just decided, and it wouldn't matter if I was working in a gen ed classroom at this point, but I have decided that nobody can learn if they're not regulated. If their systems are not ready, then they can't learn. It's the same thing when you're really, really, and we've all heard this, nobody has calmed down by another person telling them to calm down.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it worked. I'm kidding.
Nobody
calm down. Can you change the tone and say calm down?
Sometimes simple things of what do you need right now?
What do you need?
And sometimes what I need is just to be left alone, or a piece of chocolate cake, or a cup of coffee. I mean, it's simple things. Let's take a walk outside, and this goes for your child too. I remember hearing a parent says, "I've tried everything." Well, they tried everything in an hour worth of time, and obviously none of those things worked, and pretty much they were dragging each other down, is what they were doing. And as adults, what happens, I believe, what happens is we get into power struggles. And so, and then now we're in a power struggle with an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old. And we tend to forget that once you're in that power struggle, you've lost. You have already lost. So you just need to back up and say, and tell yourself and tell them, I think right now what we both need is some time out. And then we'll come together when we are both calm and we can help each other to do the right thing. And it is really up to the adult to do that. And when you feel yourself getting to that frustration level, when you feel yourself going, I've tried everything, when you feel yourself saying, I don't even know if I love this child anymore, or like this child. Sometimes it's not so much I don't love them, it's I don't know if I like them anymore. When you feel yourself getting to that point, then you need to just back off. And you need to, it's no longer a power struggle. It's just a struggle. It's a war at this point.
And also they're offline. Whatever you say to them at that point, there's no comprehension. It's just kind of words being thrown back and forth, right? Any type of escalation from that point on, there's nobody's listening to either one of us, just going at it. So there's nothing is happening. So what's the point of it? So you might as well save the energy.
I mean, even if you're talking to your spouse or your significant other,
anybody.
Anybody. And as adults, even if somebody's yelling at you, I don't know about you, but when somebody starts yelling at you or not treating you appropriately, I start shutting down. And I'm already in battle mode. I mean, in my own way, I'm in a battle mode. And so now I'm not going to listen to reason. I just want to be right. And I remember, not a fan of them, but I remember Dr. Phil saying at one point, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And so that's where it comes down to sometimes is it's not about being right. It's about what is going to be good for all of us in the long run. What is the operating system? How can we get our operating systems back online so we can solve this and we can be happy?
Yes. And then what does it look like in real time? Readiness look like? Because a lot of people are like, what are you guys talking about? What is this readiness piece? Like, tell us more about it. What does it look like? Give me an example where you experienced yourself or experienced, you have a dad, his elderly dad. So anywhere that you experience readiness, because it's everywhere. Everybody needs it. It's not just a child needs it. It's a human. It's a human system, right?
I think readiness, it happens when you feel a state of calmness from them and from yourself. So, and I'll just talk about me for a minute. Math was I hated it. I hated it with every fiber of my being. And if
I can make you love it. I can make you love it.
I know you probably could. And even now today, it's a lot better. But even now as today, but for years, if you gave me a paper with numbers, and it could be something that I knew how to do, but if it was a full paper of numbers, I would panic. Panic, and all of a sudden I couldn't do it anymore.
Yes.
So true. The other example I have, and it just happened today, but it happens every day in my classroom. Because of the type of students I have, they're very sensitive to food and smells. So we have lunch every day, and the goal is for them, one, to pick up their lunch, two, to open up the thing and look at their food and then close it back and they can throw it away. But we have students that they are start getting so panicked about looking at the food and afraid that they might have to eat it, that they will just shut down and they will put their head down and start crying. Just because they're that afraid of food. And even I have to recognize the fact that, are we pushing them into something that they don't even need? They're obviously not ready to do this. And this is where being a teacher and being the adult in the room, you're thinking, but am I doing them justice too? And I think that's where parents and teachers are. We want so badly to have them ready for life, and we don't want anybody to make fun of them, that we push them into things that they're already dysregulated about. And so I'm starting to slowly figure out that this isn't working. Obviously, you can't have a child that is so dysregulated that he wants to hide underneath the table and cry because you made him pick up his lunch tray. And do I know the answer? No. I mean, but the answer is that obviously this is not working, and his whole system is shutting down. And
at that point is most of the time, a lot of people try to reason with them, or
yeah,
have logical reasoning with them, or try
yeah,
to problem solve with that person while they're shutting down and closing up or offline. Nothing will work at that point.
no, nothing will work. And so even if you get them to do, like for me, just open up your lunch tray. Even if you get them to do, open up the lunch tray. And for us, that seems like, oh, that's so simple. But for them, it is not. For whatever reason, that has shut down his operating system. So even though maybe, I can win at it. So totally, I can win. I can make him do that. I can even make him take the food and stuff. But what cost? Now I've lost him for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So that you have to,
Yeah,
weigh the
I've lost
cost of
the rest of the day.
how are you going to get him back again to do other
Yeah,
things.
yeah. And so now we have to work harder to get him re-regulated. And
But
that's
isn't that then behavior that like somebody might look at that and say that's behavior? You shouldn't, like, we should be dealing with that behavior.
well, yeah, it's behavior, but doesn't behavior all communicate something? A behavior, if unless there's some serious things going on, if an adult comes up to you and starts yelling at you or hitting you or threatening you, that's a behavior. And so it's no different than if a child is saying, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, or I'm not opening the lunch tray. Yes, it's a behavior, but what are they trying to communicate? What are they trying to tell me? Why? And this is a lesson that I'm learning every day as I work with my students, as I work with all kids and people. What are they really trying to communicate? And another example is that I had an email and I answered the email, and they answered very rudely. I mean, it was very confrontational and pretty rude. And the choice was, do I answer this and then we could just keep this going all day long? Or I can just let it go, because obviously there's something going on in their lives that they feel that they don't have control over. And that's what we have to look at. It's not always about being right. It's about what is going on in their lives that they feel the need that they need to do this. Because we're all professionals. We all know what needs to be done.
Yeah. And then when we label behavior, we stop though, because it's sort of like, oh, that's just behavior, right? Even at home or at school, right? If we just stop with labeling it as a behavior and stopping it, and then we go further to find a label for it, but that's kind of the route we go. Instead of, if we look at it, like you said, what is it trying to communicate? On top of it, what is the signal here? And why is this human shutting down? Like, why are they shutting down when this is happening? Why are they going to this extreme of complete shutdown of all of their systems? So then there's a systematic problem going on. We need to be curious about it. That's what we're not being curious about it. We're either labeling it as behavior and then going towards figuring out what label could this be fit into. Is it ADHD? Is it that? Is it this? And that's where everybody is running to, and that has become a big problem too. And then the child carries on. Now I'm this, so this is how I act or I behave then, right? Because now I have a label.
I mean, labels can help to a certain degree.
Of course.
But and this is the big thing, we can't rely on the labels, because
every child's different. They're unique.
Every child falls on a spectrum. Every child, like, for example, if I have a child with ADD or ADHD and they constantly come up to, and they're constantly up from their chair, and they're constantly wanting to talk to me, and they're constantly not focused, we could say, well, that's their ADD, that's their ADHD. But the real meaning behind it, yes, that might be part of it, because their brain is.
But they're trying to communicate something. They want to tell you something.
They want to tell me something. What I find, if I just put down my pencil or turn away from my computer, because I have a lot of data to do, if I turn and I just listen for 5 minutes, that usually takes care of 70% of the problem. And then you just have to give them reminders, because I need reminders. I don't know about you. It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're 4 or 94, you still need reminders that things, what are you doing? Do you not? I have really great people in my classroom, and they remind me that I need to be doing something all the time. And that's great.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I really do. I do need those reminders. And it's the same way with our kids. Yes, they need reminders, but not nag, reminders. And we have to remember again that it's the operating system. Is your child stressed right now? Is the adult anxious right now? Are they afraid of failing? Are they afraid of, and this goes for children or adults, there's so much work. I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. Yes. And you're just adding on to me. And I don't know.
I have an advice. Try harder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's just try harder, because, it will get done.
I don't know if you tried it, but try harder.
That is, when you get super overwhelmed, the best thing to do is find something that really will take you out of that overwhelmness.
Yes.
When I was a child, I loved to read, and reading was my escape. And then I could better able to handle the world about me. And even now, there's things like I have birds, as a lot of people know. I have parrots.
Yes.
And some of you have heard, I'm currently at my school right now. But what I have found, that sometimes just sitting outside with them, with a cup of coffee or
beautiful
anything, will a lot of times just calm me down. I put my phone up too. I keep my phone turned off all the time, and I pick it up at certain times of day to catch up. But other than that, I keep my phone away from me, because if you don't, then you're just back into the cycle of things. And there is nothing that is so important that can't be dealt with in 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, or an hour, 2 hours.
For me, Monday was a holiday, and I remember I sat outside for like 5 hours with the birds. And just
how many do you have now? How many do you have?
I have 3 macaws. I have a golfing cockatoo and 2 little parakeets.
Nice. Beautiful. So they'll keep you busy for 5 hours.
They keep me busy, but they also, I think when you look at things like that, it doesn't matter if you have dogs, cats, or no animals, and you're looking at the birds in your yard, or the deer, maybe you live out in the country, or something, or trees. Just trees and flowers, to me, are just miracles. Every day they're a miracle.
You know why? I think because they don't try harder like us.
Yeah.
They're not grinding through life, I think.
Yeah, they're not trying to get bigger than the next door flower. My birds are not trying to outdo each other, unless it's for a snack. I mean, but
they're just peace. They're just in peace, right? They're peaceful.
Yeah, they're really
in
are.
A state of peace.
And that's why it's important to just stay there. Because when you do, and people go, well, I don't have time. But do you have time to keep trying harder and get nowhere?
Yeah, we do. We used to spend time like that.
Apparently we do.
Because it has become our state, right? What happened is that we do it so long that it becomes like almost hard to even realize, like, I need rest. Like, so how many of us don't even know we need rest? Like we don't even allow us, because we're like, oh, if I do rest, I'll fall behind. Almost like I'm on that running
treadmill.
race, right?
Yeah, you're on that treadmill again, not getting anywhere. But by God, you can run fast.
Yeah, but in my head, I think I'm running a race. But in reality, I'm just on the treadmill. That's all. Yeah, or on a hamster wheel, But I think I'm going to win a race. Trying harder. But I have another question for you. So what surprised you most about working system first instead of outcome first? Because in school, we are always, chasing that outcome, right? So now that you shifted into system first, what has changed for you?
I think
or surprised you?
what surprised me is that teachers and kids are more ready to work.
Yes.
They're more ready to get the things done that you wanted to get done. And so providing more breaks, if I feel like that everything is, the whole classroom is dysregulated, and tell you the truth, I've only done it a few times, but occasionally my students or even the adults in my classroom will ask for this, is I will, for 7 minutes, put on some soothing scenery with soothing music and turn the lights off, and we just lay our heads on the desk or just quiet, because some kids don't want to do that, and we're just quiet for 7 minutes. That's it, 7 minutes. And I want to get it up to 10 minutes actually, but I am dealing with children.
That's good. That's good. That's good. You just wake your way up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I have found is that a couple of kids came to me the other day and says, "Can we put our heads down with the lights off?" And to me, that was
perfect.
Moving. It was moving. I
they
was
needed
just,
it.
yeah, I was doing it for the adults in the room, tell you the truth, and and to get some quiet. But and so, but it really helped them. And
beautiful. But we're all humans. We're all of us are same system, right? Like we have the same makeup, so we all crave the same thing. And sometimes what we need is just calm and quiet. That's it.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's just being calm and quiet. And I don't consider, I call it communication play, because a lot of times specifically my kids don't know how to play with each other. They don't know how to communicate with each other. And so what we do is I just get out favorite things, and they pick something, and one other person can join them, but they have to negotiate if they want to play with something else or play with somebody else. So they have to negotiate that. They actually enjoy doing that. I mean, we sit and watch, and we remind them of, let's negotiate, and we remind them of keeping the noise level down. Because the noise level, there is a time for noise and running around, and I don't discount that. But there's also a time that we just need to keep the noise level down and play quietly. And with our friends, it doesn't always have to be loud and boisterous. And like I said, there is a time to let them free out in the yard and just tell them to go run. And I've done that too. And I've just said, okay, go outside and go run. And they don't even ask for a toy. They are literally just running back and forth.
Yeah, excited to release some energy out.
Yeah, it's just to release the energy. Another funny thing that happened too. So you never be surprised by what engages your child. I had a child come up to me. They happened to. We've had a lot of rain here, so that meant that we had a lot of weeds. Okay, long, the ones that grow up really. So a couple of mine really like playing with the weeds. They like to pick it and they like to strip it and see what happens. It's like little scientists. That's really what a child is supposed to do. They mowed, and one of the kids go, "But I need my weed." Said,
they cut it.
We'll go find you some weeds. So we found some long grass, but the adults were laughing. I don't think of course the kids didn't get it, but yeah, we found some long grass, and she was totally happy. You know,
it's beautiful.
The grass, yeah. But they, if we really listen and allow them to do what they really want to do, they'll let you know.
No,
they will let you know.
Yeah. Safety creates communication, open communication, right? When they feel safe, your children feel safe, they're going to open up to you more and more. So how do we create that safety? It's by being ready. Your systems are ready. Syncing your system with your children's system at home will allow that to happen. So my next question is, what resistance did you feel internally when you stop controlling and like start observing the readiness part? Because, you know, as teachers, you usually like to have everything controlled and, you know, orderly, right?
Yeah, we are very much control freaks. I mean, I would tell you that we can't help ourselves. I think, well, okay, what I do listen to what everybody has to say. I do listen to what all the inputs, but I don't, for me, and again, I listen to what my kids need first. That's how I've changed. I listen to what my kids need first. Now, I'm not saying that I listen and I'm like passive aggressive. I've listened to you, but I'm not really going to do it. What I've done is now I point out the fact that I will do this, but I need to get my kids ready for it. I cannot just present it to them and expect them to be ready for it. I cannot push them towards something that they're not ready for. It's just not going to happen. And
so even with that controlling, you have softened inside, right? You have like softness towards and compassion toward. I can still control the outcome, but I need to make sure the prerequisite is there.
Yeah, the it's not even. I don't even really care about the outcomes of academics at this point, because I've always felt if you don't have behaviors, if you don't have, and we do talk about behaviors, if you don't have your operating system in line, if you don't have behaviors in line, no learning is taking place anyway.
No,
none.
Absolutely.
And just because you think a child is quiet doesn't mean that they're learning. It just means that they've learned how to be quiet and
shut you out and shut you out.
Yeah. I know that we both have been there, where we have listened to people and we appear to be listening. Our eyes are wide open. In fact, we even have a pencil and a pad of paper, and we will be scribbling something, but we have not heard a word you've said.
Yes. I could even be looking at you and not hear a word you said too, because I could just escape.
And that has nothing to do with whatever your diagnosis is. That just has to do with the human brain. The human brain, the systems themselves have to be ready. And I have been through many administrators, and I think most teachers have. The administrators I listen to are the ones that are kind, and they sit and they build a bond with you. And those are the ones that, and that's the ones that I will listen to more than I will listen to anybody else. And the one that will laugh with you over something silly. And so if as adults, that's what we need, why do we think our kids don't need that? Our kids just need us to sit with them, to laugh with them, to have a conversation. And if you say, well, my child is too young, or they don't speak, or they're nonverbal, doesn't mean you can't have a conversation with them. It just means you communicate differently. And I guarantee almost every parent with a non-communicative, nonverbal child knows what their child is communicating.
Oh, yeah, I do. It's beautiful. Yeah. So a lot of people these days are like taking generic solutions, right? Like the parents hear these generic solutions and then they apply to their child, who is unique as they can be, right? Every child is unique. And we take generic advice from online or parenting workshops or just some parenting experts, right? But the thing is, it doesn't mean it's going to fit you. It's just like buying any size clothes and saying, let's put it on our child, right? It doesn't work that way. It has to fit. There's even sizes for that. But in learning, we don't have sizes. We think everybody should learn the same way. We only have one way of learning. Or then we looked at, okay, then somebody might say, listening to me right now, will say, oh no, we look at learning styles. That's just styles, but there's more than styles. Like, it's not even about styles, but how am I responding to those styles? Like, like I'm a system, I'm a living system, and systems are always affected by so many different variables. Day to day, I'm different. Like, I sometimes say I'm visual learner, but I'm not always a visual learner. You know what I mean? In certain other situation, I'm not. I totally act differently. And some days I act differently too. So,
and it depends on what we've eaten.
Exactly. And how much sleep I had.
Yeah. And it does. It depends on our sleep patterns. It depends on who's
pissing me off too, right? Who might be pissed off at somebody in your life, and that throws everything off.
And it does. And it does for kids too. Not only adults, for kids. So I always regulate that. If I'm not regulated, nobody else around me will be regulated. No. Nobody. Absolutely. And we pick up that. If you go home and your spouse or your partner or your whoever is not regulated, and even though they're not yelling at you, but something is wrong, then you are already start bringing yourself down. And so the key is, how do we regulate ourselves so that if the person that we're going home to, or the person that is not, that they're mad about something that could have happened at work or in traffic or whatever, that we're not feeding off of that energy, that we have the energy and the gift that they can feed off of us instead.
Yeah. And the biggest thing you've already mentioned earlier is the curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Curiosity is so important at any situation, anytime, anywhere. Anytime you're working with your own child, or as a teacher, you're working with a student, it doesn't matter if you can remain in that curiosity. In order to remain in curiosity, you have to stay, as you said, in that readiness phase, in flow and focus, because you cannot be you don't get to be curious by demand. Curiosity comes when you're in flow, because that's when you can access, and you have access to all your sensory system. Now you can be, through that, you can be curious, like, what's actually happening here and why is it happening?
I think that just going in and going, oh my God, what is wrong with you now?
Yeah, that's not curiosity.
That's not curiosity.
That's the result of trying harder.
Yeah, I think going in and going to yourself, I know that they're upset about something. So how do I approach this? What is the best way that I can approach this? If I feel that I'm going to get frustrated or upset about something, then maybe you don't approach it right that moment. Yeah. And I know that's hard, because with kids, you feel the need that you need to fix it. Yeah. We are fixing, well, if you have any capacity, as teachers, counselors, doctors, nurses, anybody in the helping profession, they want to fix it. Yes. They want their kids to be happy. And
it comes from a good place, but the fact that we don't give space, like I used to be like that too. That was the biggest learning I had to learn, is how to let go. The time that elapses between you trying to solve something without giving that time elapse, it just makes it so much harder for everybody, with your own kids too, right? Like, sometimes you want to solve it before the end of the night, and it cannot happen. Leave it. Yeah. I trained myself to leave it.
And I one of the advices that I always try to kind of mention to teachers is, don't unload on parents. Mm. And it's not that they don't need to know, but they already know. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they already know. If they want to, unless it's a person who is in danger, or to themselves or others, calling them 3-4 times a day, or waiting outside for them to just talk to them, not only does it not build a good relationship with the parent, but it doesn't build a good relationship with the child. The child's just still going to act out. They're not going to stop unless it's in fear. And I don't know if we want our kids to be in fear. As a parent, as a teacher, as a community member, we don't want our kids to live in fear.
But a lot of teachers, as I talk more and more every day with teachers these days, they're dealing with things they're not trained.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like you're an employee to a system, so you have to do the right thing all the time, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't take a leadership and say, I'm going to do it this way or I'm going to try that way. You cannot do that. You have to follow the procedures, follow the protocols. So you're kind of locked into using your creativity in solving problems. You have to follow the structure that's set for you, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
teachers get locked into those structures, and then they can't move anywhere, and they're just doing what they're allowed to do versus what their heart might say to do.
Yeah, and that's really what it is too. And also because you just don't know what else to do, you want a partner. And so sometimes unloading on a parent feels like that, well, maybe they're partner, maybe they have a solution, maybe that it will help. And um and most of that is really always done out of a true frustration level, a true your operating system is not working right now, and and the child's operating system is not working, and the parent's operating system is not working, and it doesn't matter what economics you come from. uh, yes, does it happen more in areas that are more uneducated and poverty stricken? Yes, the data shows that. But at the same time, it happens in every home. And sometimes what you see as advantages also can be seen as pressure.
Yeah. So yeah, the teamwork is not there, right? As we know, right? Like there's a lot of things that are going on that it reduces the teamwork between the parents. Parents think teachers should try harder. You know, there's always a back and forth communication, conversations happening, but that's because our education system was built on the assumption that all kids coming into our classroom will be in the state of flow and focus, and they can pay attention and learn, which means they were already ready and start to accelerate. But unfortunately, that's not the case. We are a living system. We're a biological living system. So many variables are affecting us, and we do not come through those doors and sit down on those desks ready to go. I was never like that. I was
No,
never
I
like
wasn't
that.
either. I was usually shut down in school.
I
Uh,
sat down and I was shut down, and daydreaming was the most thing that I did most of my classes.
yeah, that was
That was
I they used to always tell my parents, she's great, but she just looks out the window the whole day.
or she
I mean,
should take some art class because she's drawn a lot. You know, I
yeah,
scribble a lot.
it's just, and and back then the pressure wasn't even there like it is now. Kids don't have time to daydream anymore.
No, it's
They
true.
don't
So
have time. I think that one of the things that we really want to get to is that readiness isn't something that we demand. We can't demand that a child be ready. It's something
or
that you have,
assume, or
or
assume.
assume. You have to cultivate it. And how do we cultivate it? It's like anything else, is that you get the ground ready, the soil ready. And how do we get the soil ready? By tending to it. And so we need to tend to our kids. We need to spend that time with them. It's not going to be wasted time. You'll catch up eventually. It doesn't
It goes
matter if you
faster. Actually, it goes faster.
go
I mean,
faster.
like
Because it
think
gets
about it. You just said cultivate and plant, cultivate and tend to the soil, right? Think about that. If we just ignore that part and plant a seed, does it grow?
no. It will grow eventually. If I mean, some do grow
Yeah,
despite all the odds. Some
yeah,
do grow,
yeah. But I'm
and
talking about I want to have a full harvest. Like I
yeah,
want everything to grow that I plant. It's not going to happen. But if we take the time to, as you said, cultivate the soil and tend the soil, can I get results? Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's going to go faster. Even if the growth is going to happen faster. So I think that guilt of I'm going to waste time has to go.
yeah. And it's not just for parents. And I do understand and I don't even understand how. I don't even know how parents do it this time with two working parents. You don't get home till 5 or 6. You're fixing dinner, getting kids baths, homework, and in bed.
Yeah.
And it's got to be tough. You've only got a few hours to try to cultivate a relationship with your children, and and get your own system back in line again.
Yes. Absolutely. So
So
let me ask you this question. What is the hardest truth that about education that people don't want to admit? What is the hardest truth that about education people don't want to admit?
that was that we've really messed up. You know? I mean, that this is,
We need to get the soil cultivating.
yeah.
Start cultivating the soil.
Well, it start cultivating the soil, and know that we don't have to compete with anybody. That the kids will be ready when they're ready.
Yes.
I mean, if some kids, okay, I can plant. In fact, we did this with the kids. Excuse me, not too long ago when I think we planted beans. And we planted them all the same time in the same pots, same dirt with the same water. Watered them every day, gave them all sunlight. Some sprouted up super fast, and some were like tiny. But does it mean that we failed with the tiny plant and we only succeeded with the big plant? No. It just means that some seeds take a little bit longer to get to their potential. And we need to we don't stop watering because it's tiny. We keep watering, we keep tending, we keep paying attention to it because it needs it just as much as that tall plant does.
But no matter what, we need to get the soil cultivated, though.
Yeah, no matter
for
what,
both of them,
it has to be cultivated. It has to be cultivated. Both teacher, parent, community, whoever is taking care of this child, we all need to be ready.
yes.
And we all.
So why do we cling to this effort culture, even though it's failing? And it's like we're all exhausted by trying harder, but we still cling to it. Effort.
I think that we could go to a million answers for that, but truthfully, I believe that we're still back in the try harder phase.
We are. That's why we're holding on to it, and we're also scared that that's the guilt that we talked about, right? The guilt that what if I lose time? This lose time guilt.
Yeah,
like I will fall behind guilt. Because we all have milestones, right? That we all follow this milestone.
Kids aren't ready. Yeah. What if my kids aren't ready for intermediate school, high school, college, whatever the case? What if they're not ready? I have to get them ready. I cannot let them not be able to open their lunch thing, because then if they get to intermediate school, they won't be ready. Does it really matter in the long run? No. But that's just a simple example. I think it's a try harder. If we just try harder, we can get ourselves ready. I mean, we've even gone into the wellness revolution of trying harder. You know, if you just did yoga and meditated and you did all of these things, which is again another form of try harder, then you'll be ready to teach or parent.
I've been trying harder to lose weight, like a yo-yo thing forever in my life, until I realized that it wasn't even my weight. It was my hormones and my other systems that were out of whack that couldn't let me lose weight. But everybody said, do this, do that, do this, like just blank generic things I've been trying all my life. And then eventually last year is when I really figured out that it's nothing to do with your workouts. It's nothing to do with what you eat. It's all about your hormones.
Yeah.
Check your hormones. And I did check my hormones before, but they all were good. But then eventually somehow it wasn't good.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that check. I think one of the things that I said in the article is that when we shift from asking what is wrong with this child,
yes,
and we go to what does the system need right now, everything changes. And so sometimes we won't know. I mean, sometimes you won't be able to find it out right away. It's like you said, for years and years, it was because of your hormones. And a lot of us struggle with that, and nobody wants to admit that it could be something else. And I could come up, but a lot of that again goes back to the soil, is that we haven't properly cultivated our soil, and that includes us. We don't properly take care of ourselves. And we were I was talking about this with the adults in the room, is that we were talking about that we stress eat, or to eat for depression, or eat for this, or eat for that. And yeah, it works for 5 minutes.
Well, that becomes safety. That eating for depression and all that becomes safety, right? I used to have safety food. Anytime I felt bad, I would have these safety. I don't know if you had it, like safety food, and it reminded me of who gave me those safety food when I was young too. So it becomes a total conditioning, right, to feel good.
It's just a tool of conditioning. And going back to the school, why do schools do this? It's safety. It's safety. This is how we've done it for years. So it's safety. And we get so much money, and we have to prove how we're spending our money, and seeing that we're spending this much time keeping our kids safe emotionally, operating system doesn't always show value right away. It doesn't show value, and that's what people want. They want that value right away.
Or grades or performance, like they want output. If you don't see the output coming out right away, that if there's a delayed output, there's that's scary for people to have that, right? Because they want it. So meet the milestones, right? Like you have to meet the milestones and keep moving, try harder, and get the results. If I don't see the results, then it's right away we turn around and say, what's wrong, right? What's wrong? Is the bigger question, is what's wrong at the end of it.
I listened to somebody the other day, and it was a very short, like 1 minute thing. And one of the things he said is that we spend a lot of time advocating for kids. But society, or everything in place, doesn't want you to advocate for kids. Not unless you're putting yourself in the line of a gunfire or a crazed person or something. And then they expect you to do that. But they don't want you to advocate in the way of, this isn't what my kids need right now. My kids need safety. They need to be ready. So people want you to do everything else, but not making sure, and not advocating for your kids, for their safety, for their well-being, for their emotions, and for them to just be ready.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. So thank you, Lorraine, for sharing your magazine, the article on our magazine, and coming today and speaking to us, because it's so important for us to look at it through the lens of readiness versus behavior, because we keep saying it's just behavior, it's just behavior. It actually, even that word now it brings me sort of anger. I don't know what it does for you. It's sort of like somebody's doing something behavior. It's always been bad. We never associate good things with behavior. It's always been a bad thing that's associated with behavior, and it brings bad memory. So I think if we could just eliminate that, even from the, calling kids, displaying their emotions, or like displaying their state, showing us they're in distress, instead of calling it behavior, what are they signaling? What is the signal it's coming out of them, and why are they in this distress? What's going on to all of their systems? If we could just use that compassionate lens versus behavior lens, and also curiosity. Curiosity goes so long, right? Just ask questions. Just ask questions, like you said.
And they might not, people might not tell you, kids might not tell you.
But asking yourself, even that, I don't even say go ask the kid, but just ask yourself, like, I wonder why he's shutting down. You can even talk to your own self, to talk to your own brain, and ask those questions yourself, because then you're going to have some more compassion. Just labeling it's a behavior now, right? That's different, right? So even talking to yourself.
And I agree with that. Yeah, that's probably the most important. Talk to yourself first before you just go rushing in trying to fix things.
Exactly.
Because sometimes,
thank you so much. Thank you all of you for watching. And then Lorraine's article is in the magazine, so if you haven't seen it, there's a link in this video, underneath this video. Click that, and if you put in the word flow, all capital letters. You can access and you can read her articles and rest of the articles as well, and all of our other magazines that we published as well. So thank you for listening. As we always say, readiness is something that we can cultivate, and it's possible. It's not too late. You don't have to try harder. That you can end that. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak and talking about my passion. Thank you so much.